All right, we are going to look at our lesson 6 practice problems all over inequalities. So there's only 10 problems. The first 6 are graphing on a number line, and then the last 4 are graphing on the coordinate plane. So let's jump in and solve these. Number 1 says solve and graph the following inequalities, show all steps. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve for x first. So we'll go ahead and subtract, whoa, that's really big. Let's subtract 1 from both sides first. So we get 3x is less than 9, 10 minus 1. And then we are just dividing both sides by 3, and it's a positive 3, so we don't have to flip any signs or anything. So we get x is less than 9 divided by 3, which is just 3. Okay, x is less than 3, so let's go graph it. Let's put our 3 here on our number line. We know it's going to be an open circle. And less than means we're going to shade to the left. Always. Always to the left if it's less than, always to the right if it's greater than. An open circle because there's no line underneath this. It's a closed circle if there is a line. All right, very good. Number 2. Okay, we're going to solve for x first. First thing I'd want to do would be subtract this 10 from both sides. So those cancel. We get x over 3 is greater than or equal to 15 minus 10 would be 5. And then we are multiplying both sides by the 3 over here to get rid of it. So the 3's will just cancel out. And we get x is greater than or equal to 15. Okay, if we go to graph that, I'm going to put my 15 here. Greater than or equal, the or equal part means we do a closed circle. And then greater than means we're going to shade to the right. There we go. That's it for that one. Okay, number 3. Let's go ahead and solve for x first. So it looks like we would first subtract this 22 from both sides. Cancel those out. We get a negative 2x is less than 18 minus 22. It's going to be a negative 4. And then this one, be very careful because you do divide both sides by a negative number. You're dividing by negative 2. And we know when we multiply or divide by a negative, we do flip our inequality sign. So instead of less than, it's going to become greater than. And over here, negative divided by negative, it's going to become a positive 2. Okay, so we want to graph x is greater than 2. Let's put our 2 here. It's going to be an open circle, and then greater than means we shade to the right. Good. Number 4. Okay, so we first want to solve for x. Let's go ahead and subtract the 11 from both sides. Going to cancel out there, bring down our 7x is greater than, we got negative 31 minus 11, that's like plus a negative 11, so that's going to be a negative 42. And then we are dividing both sides by positive 7, so we don't have to flip a sign at all because it's a positive number that we're dividing by. So we get x is greater than, that's going to give us negative 6. Okay, let's go graph that. Here's my negative 6. It's going to be another open circle, and x is greater than that number, so we're going to shade everything to the right. Okay, number 5. Let's solve for x. So I'm going to first add 3 to both sides. I get x over 5 is less than or equal to 9. And then to get rid of that 5, we multiply both sides by 5. So the 5's cancel. There's my blue. So we get x is less than or equal to 45. So let's put our 45 right here. Now this one will be a closed circle, and that's because we've got the line underneath this. That always means you're going to close it up, because we include that number, less than or equal to. And then less than means we are going to shade it to the left. All right, last one of this section. go ahead and solve for x. Now careful here, they kind of switch the order of it. So notice your x is right here, so you want to get rid of this 18. It's a positive 18, which means I need to first subtract the 18 from both sides. We get negative 2x is greater than 4 minus 18. That's going to give me a negative 14. And then divide both sides by negative 2. And since it's negative, we do flip our sign. So we get x is less than, that would be positive 7. So we put our 7, we got an open circle on this one, and it's x is less than that number. So we are going to go to, go to the left. Okay, so hopefully that section went well for you. We got 4 left here. Now we're graphing on the coordinate plane, because if you look at all of our equations, they have x and y variables in them. Or I should say inequalities, because we don't see any equal sign. Okay. All right, now number 7. On our notes, we have a 3-step process. The first one is to get your equation or your inequality in slope-intercept form, but this one's already in that form for us. So we go to step number 2, which is to just graph this thing. So let's graph that y-intercept first. So negative 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point right there. My slope is 5/3, so 5 over 3. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1, 2, 3, and I make a point. I'm going to graph one more point if I can. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1, 2, 3. I always try to graph as many points as I can. Okay, now if you remember, when you graph your line on an inequality, it's either a dotted line or a solid line, and it depends on your inequality symbol. If it literally has the solid line under like this one has, you draw a solid line through your points. So let's go ahead and connect our dots with just a solid line here. Oh, that's bad. Semi-straightened it up. Okay, so solid line. And then your third step always with inequalities and graphing them is shading above the line or below the line. So that determines if it's less than or greater than. This is y is less than that. So less than means we're going to shade everything underneath the line. So that would be all this business right here. And then that is your solution. Your shaded area is your solution to this inequality. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. Again, this one's already in slope-intercept form, meaning the y is all by itself. So we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and graph it. So let's start with our positive 7. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to make my y-intercept right here. Now my slope is negative 1 over 2. That means I'm going to go down 1, right 2. And I'm going to keep repeating that. Down 1, right 2, just to get more points. Down 1, right 2, as many as I can. I can get a few. Okay, now on this one, I'm actually going to have a dotted line, because if you look at our inequality symbol, there's no line underneath it, no solid line underneath it. So I just carefully draw a little dotted or dashed line. All right, and then we decide, are we going to shade above the line or below the line? Okay, well, it's y is greater than the line. So greater than always means we shade everything above it. So I'm going to just shade all right here. And it's implied your shading goes on forever, but that's all I can fit right there in the graph. All right, last two here. Now these ones we'll have to do a little bit of work on them at first because they're not in slope-intercept form. So let's first get the y by itself and everything on the other side. This one we can do that all in one step. We just need to take our 2x and move it over there, and we would do that by subtracting 2x from both sides. So these will cancel. I'm going to move it over here so I have room. I'm going to bring my y down, my less than sign. Now on this side, let's write it with the x variable first so it's in true slope-intercept form. So since we're subtracting it, it's a negative 2x. And then the 1 is positive, so I put plus 1. And now it's in slope-intercept form, and let's go to graph it. We got our positive 1, so we're going to start with our y-intercept of 1. We got a slope of -2. So that's going to be, if you want, write it as a fraction. That's -2/1. So that means we are going to go down to right 1 and make a point. Okay, keep going with that. Down to right 1. Down to right 1. Down to right 1. And I'm going to get points in the other direction too by reversing slope process. So I can go up 2 and left 1 to get more points the other direction. Just like that. Okay, this is going to be a dotted line. I don't have a solid line underneath the sign, so I'm going to carefully just sketch out a dotted line the best I can. Okay, and then let's decide if we shade above or below the line. Now, the less steep the line is, some kids have a hard time deciding what's above and what's below. Well, just FYI, this is above and this is below. Okay, and the way we talked about in the note video is think of it as a staircase, a really steep staircase, and you've got like a little guy on top of your staircase walking whichever direction. He's on the top side of it, so this would be above the line. Underneath the staircase would be below the line. Sometimes it's helpful to look at it as a staircase. Okay, so our sign is a less than symbol. Y is less than the line, so less than, we're going to shade everything underneath the line. And that's it. Last one. Okay. Let's start by getting y by itself, get it into slope-intercept form. So first, we want to subtract our 2x from both sides. Let me move this over a little bit. So we'll be left with -5y is greater than or equal to -2x plus 30. And then we divide everything by -5. And hopefully you recognize what to do from here. We do have to switch our inequality sign. So we get y is less than or equal, and then careful when simplifying. This is negative divided by negative, which means it's a positive, and then 2/5 you can't simplify, so we're going to leave it as 2/5 and pull the x out to the side. And then 30 divided by -5 gives me -6. Okay, let's go ahead and graph it. Let's graph our -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. And we're going to go up 2/5. Up 2/1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's really all we can fit right here. This is going to be a solid line because we do have a solid line in our inequality symbol. Let's go ahead and draw that. And then we decide, okay, do I shade above or do I shade below? Well, it is a less than symbol. It says y is less than or equal to the line, which means we shade below the line. Okay, so that is it for inequalities for now. Hopefully that went well. I will see you in the next lesson.